is this?
A center for ants?
Well, I must say, for a casual weekend, quite an experience.
You allow this sort of thing in your department, you're basically saying it's okay.
No, I'm saying that I don't care what they do as long as my life isn't interrupted by pointless conversations like this one.
Shut up!
It's Hard-Headed Sports with Spinny and Fetty Bus. Famous for their podcasts, you can now catch them right here on The Al Travis Show.
We do love having them on the program. We've got Spinny with us today. Spinny, you're a pretty big dog in the volleyball coaching world. When you guys are out there winging around, going from town to town, what do you guys do for eating out?
Yeah, I think it just depends. Like, if we're on an away trip, we'll usually try to do, like, one nicer sit-down meal, and then the rest is more like, not fast food, but not sit-down either. Chipotle, Noodles and Company, Crisp and Green, on that vibe.
This has got to, this is going to sound sexist as all get out, but hey, I've been married for a long time. One of the worst problems you've got is, what should we have for dinner? And then it's the back and forth. I don't care. You pick. I pick last time. You pick. How do you do this with a busload of chicks?
You pick for them, and then
okay. So it isn't up for debate. Okay, then that, I was like, holy smokes.
There's a lot of scenarios where you'll give them, like, there'll be two restaurants next to each other, and you'll give them two options, and, like, my head coach will go to one, and I'll go to the other, and then, so you do it that way. But a lot of times, like, you're just sending them a Google form with, this is the restaurants we're eating this weekend, tell me what you want, and then we pre-order everything like that.
Okay, I was just going to say, I can't imagine a busload of people. Oh, I had Chinese last week, all right? You know, it'd just be crazy. Do you do any barbecue? Are you a barbecue guy? Do you like barbecue?
Yeah, some.
I'm going to lead you in. I'm going to give you some time because you've lived a lot around the state. I put out yesterday because I wung through Austin and stopped at an unbelievable place called Piggy Blues. The barbecue is off the charts. So I started yesterday coming up with a list, and people have been sending them in. Mike, and I presume he's out of Bemidji, he sent in Fozzie's Smokin' Barbecue in Bemidji.
That started out as a fire.
Oh, you do know it? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even. Okay, he said it started out as a food truck, now fixture downtown Bemidji, has a spinoff in Thief River Falls. That's where I thought of you. You must play there. Everything is smoked in-house, deep-fried mac and cheese, jalapeno egg rolls. You like meat? Get the Big Daddy or the Big Mama. So folks are sending me, I got another one for one in Rochester I'll talk about later on. I don't want to spend the whole time here. Do you have a favorite place I could put on my list?
Ooh. Honestly, do you want to drive to Texas? Can I put you on a Texas place?
I got a Des Moines on here. If you've got one and you know the name, I'll put it down. I won't hit it too much. Yeah, what's your Texas one?
Hutchins Barbecue in North Dallas. I can't remember what suburb it's in, but it's like, so you walk in and they cut all the meat right in front of you and put it on a plate and give it to you, and then you go down and you put the sides on and all that yourself. They have free dessert. It was fire. I mean, it was just by far the best barbecue I've ever had.
I love that. See, a lot of that has to do with atmosphere too, right?
Yeah.
This gal at Babe Blues, the pork was fantastic, but the waitress was over the top fantastic. I mean, the whole experience was great. That's why it helps. Yeah,
I
all
will
right, and you're in
say,
Texas.
Fozzie's is the best Minnesota barbecue I've had, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I'm not a huge
you've heard of
Minnesota
it. That's
barbecue guy, but it was awesome.
What kills me, and Fozzie's obviously been around doing well, this Piggy Blues, which I had never eaten at before. I don't get to Austin a ton, but when I did, they've been there 25 years. Good barbecue lasts, so that's what I'm going to say. All right, let's talk to the sports. Your thoughts on the Pacers and Oklahoma City being in the finals?
I'm just a little sad, Al. Like,
what? You're sad?
I just don't think it's going to be a good series. I think it's Thunder in 5. I don't see a scenario where the Pacers can win. I mean, unless Pascal, like, even if Pascal Siakam and Halliburton both played their absolute best that they could, I still just don't see a scenario, because you compare SGA and Chet to Halliburton and Pascal, and then the next 72 guys in that ranking are on OKC. So it's just hard for me to, like, envision a way in which Indiana wins the series.
You know I'm not for gambling, but even the gambling people have Oklahoma City winning this first one by almost 10.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Oklahoma City to win in 6 or less right now is minus 275. If that
Really?
tells you anything. So
See,
Oklahoma
yeah.
City winning in anything but 7 is still you're not
Making money
on that. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, but let me ask. Let's just talk this down. When you look at the two sides, the Pacers. I mean, as a fourth-ranked team, had to take out the Bucks. I think we're looking at the Bucks to win that anyway, right? 4-5. They then take down the Cavaliers, a 60-win team, and then they went to bat and beat up on the Knicks 4-2. The Pacers are a good squad, and yet they're that much worse than the OKC Thunder, right? That's
well, yeah. OKC this year is one of those like 15 to 20 best teams of all time as far as like record and regular season, and I mean we're getting pretty close to them winning 80 games, which is a crazy endeavor. So that's just what it is. And once Tatum went down and Boston wasn't going to be an option, you kind of knew that if OKC won the Western Conference Finals, that was more like the finals because I just didn't see either of those teams challenging them like Minnesota did, and they beat us in 5. So it's like
do you think we challenged them at all? We had the one game. I mean, they couldn't hit a bucket to save their souls, but that was our win.
Yeah, there was a moments when we challenged them. I think if we would have played even like 80 to 90% of our peak, that we could have challenged them, but we didn't do that. So no, the answer to that question is no, really.
For me, the beautiful part about this team, the Thunder, is its defense. I'm a defensive guy. I think most teams don't put enough on it. It'll make for a horrible all-star game if anybody catches on the defense matters. But the Thunder play all 9, 10 guys that come out, all understand where they've got to be. The steals, we had 20 steals. 10 of those are because OKC knows where you're throwing the ball before you throw the ball. They are taught so well.
Yeah, and I like this recent era has been very interesting as far as winning, like all these teams, if you look back even to the Lakers, right? 2020, we had AD and LeBron and then a bunch of really good role guys, Rondo and Howard and KCP. That's how they did it. Go to Milwaukee, right? You got those big 3 at the time with Middleton and Holiday and Giannis, but then a bunch of good role players. Warriors, 21-22, Steph and all great role players. Denver loses their role players after they win the championship, not nearly as good. Boston got the best role players and the best top 8 in the league. Like, when you just look at how the last NBA Finals have evolved, it's really getting to this point of doing what OKC is doing. You got a star and a guy who could really score and win, maybe 1 to 2 of those guys. And then you got just a bunch of guys who you're super confident can play 20 to 25 minutes in these really big games. And OKC's thing is defense. Boston's was shooting threes. Denver's was the high pick and roll with Murray and Jokic. Golden State's is ball movement. There's all have different signatures, but it's all the same type of roster
formula,
especially after the new second apron.
So then you tell me, what do we do with the Wolves? What do they have to do this next offseason? Is it they're talking to the teammates? We just got to bond some more together. I don't think that's it here. It isn't bonding. We need something. What do we need, Spin?
I mean, ideal world, Randall accepts his option, and then we immediately trade him for Kevin Durant. That would be my ideal world.
You would do that, and what I mean by that is that Randall did have some issues. You do that. KD is on the down. He can't play defense like he used to. He's still tall, can shoot like butter. I'm not ripping him, but he's not Randall-esque in the ability to force a shot inside. Do you really do that? I'd do it with Nas and give him somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, if that'd be fine as well. If I'd be more okay with that as well, because then Randall becomes your third scoring option, which I'm very okay with as well. So if that's the move too, if it's Nas and Alexander Walker and maybe Dillingham or Terrence Shannon, like if it's if it's a combo like that, that'd be awesome as well. Yeah. I don't want to give Randall a long-term contract at all.
That's fair.
I would rather be worse next year and have more options to get a good player than give Randall a long-term contract. I think we saw he had 2 good rounds, but then we saw in round 3, that's what playoff Randall is usually like. And I just don't think we can win with him as our second best player.
And we're stuck with Gobi, right? I mean, you can't do anything. We gave up the world for him. No one's going to pay the money we're paying him, so we're stuck with him. So I think Randall takes his option, whether we keep him or not. I don't think Nas stays. I love Nas. I don't want him to go anywhere. But that kid can start on about, 25 of the teams in the NBA. He'd go get starter money. He does not have to be a 6-man off the bench following those 2 guys. I think he's gone. I don't know about Walker. I don't care. You package them all together. Let's see what we can get.
I'd love to keep one of the 2 of those guys between Nah and Nas. I mean, I'd love to keep both of them, but I don't know if that's possible. But I will say the Nas playoff performance helps us in those negotiations, man. He did not have a good playoffs to his standards and to the standards of last year. So that should help us a little bit, hopefully, in the bottom dollar.
And I love Mike Conley, don't get me wrong, but he's too slow anymore. Not his fault. He's old to guard some of these fast folks. He's got to go, even if it's a bench move. And if we've traded up to get Rob Dillingham, put him in the lineup. Show up or trade him. We got to get a point guard out there who can also do some scoring for us.
Agreed. I mean, I think there's a good chance Terrence Shannon gets real minutes consistently next year. Like, if we see improvements that we saw throughout this year, and I mean, just look in the playoffs. He came in not scared, aggressive, balled out, got us some sparks at some points. He's super physical. He can guard. Like, I'm confident he'll get minutes next year.
All right. We'll go on. We got much more to talk about. We got lots of NBA. We've got the whole summer. We got all this going on with the championship. We'll be on for the next month and a half. We'll be back after this with more. We'll talk some Major League Baseball next with Spinny.
All the special interests are represented in St. Paul. But who speaks for you? Center of the American Experiment does. Our policy fellows dig into the tough issues that matter to you and offer common sense solutions on education, taxes, crime, and energy. American Experiment is the trusted, nonpartisan voice of Minnesotans like you. We are working every day to make Minnesota a better, safer, more prosperous place. We are American Experiment. Go to americanexperiment.org to learn more.
If it's your turn to host a game, Grandpa's Barbecue suggests you try something different. Put out the perfect barbecue flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. Add it to your ribs, dip the meatballs, or drench your wings in the original flavor of Grandpa's Barbecue. It isn't too hot or spicy, fruity or smoky or whatever. Grandpa's Barbecue. Available in select stores and online at grandpasbarbecueshop.com.
You don't need to ask him his opinion more than once. Al Travis on The Al Travis Show.
And we've got Spinny from Hard Headed Sports. Check him out wherever you get your podcasts. Spinny, this whole Central Division in baseball is driving me a little crazy. First off, Detroit's good, but I didn't know they're this good, leading the entire major leagues. Then we can't seem to catch Cleveland, even though they have a negative 16 run differential. Then you've got the Twins with a plus 36, and again, we're behind them. Kansas City's right there. I don't think the Twins have enough room for error if they want to catch Detroit. I don't think there's any more of these. We keep losing 2 out of 3 in the 10th inning kind of things going on. I don't think we have that much room to do that. Your thoughts on the Twins and just the AL Central?
AL Central's good. White Sox finally took their big skid, so they're finally back where they should belong. But the other 4 teams are very good, and Detroit is nasty. 21-8 at home, 19-13 on the road. I mean, if the Twins could win a road game, we'd be absolutely cooking anybody. 18-8 at Target Field, but 14-19 on the road, 5 games under 500. So that's where we need to focus our time. And like you said, Al, I think it's just about winning 2 out of 3 as much as possible going forward and making up that small ground. Are we going to catch Detroit when we talk about like roster versus roster plus their start? Probably not.
Okay.
We're probably looking at a wild card scenario, I'm guessing, going in. But Cleveland can't keep winning games where they
have less runs scored than given up. Yeah.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this. Put your coach's hat on.
Okay.
We got to win everything. Again, the margin for error to me is very small. I don't know. Possibly if Royce Lewis could hit a flippin' baseball, we would have won those 2 games, which we lost on the 10th inning because we had to go to the 10th inning. I don't think ever before in Twins history has a player gone 0 for 30 and still playing baseball in the major leagues. What do you do with Royce Lewis?
I'm no different than I was last week, Al. I'm really not.
What? What does a note never stop for you? At some point, you say we must do something?
I mean, at some point, yeah, it would. But this man has earned a little bit of a benefit of the doubt, I think, with his performance over the last 2 years. Would you say?
I agree 100%. And again, I'm not anti-Royce Lewis. I'm not anti-Mike Conley. I'm just, guess what? You got to do all you can to help a team. At what point does a coach say, son, love you to death, take 3-4 days off, get your head out of it. Don't even come to the field. Go to Hawaii and have a pina colada. You got to get your head out of the game. You know what I'm saying? He's his own worst enemy.
No, I agree. Man needs to meditate or do some yoga or I don't know.
Anything.
Man needs to get out of his own head a little bit. I agree with you on that. I think, and I also agree. Like you can take him out of the lineup for 2 or 3 days and let him just chill and figure his stuff out and then put him back in. I don't think that's a bad take at all in any way. But if we're gonna win games going forward and make the playoffs and be an actual competitive baseball team, we're going to need him. So whatever we got to do now to get him out of this slump is what we need to do.
And he's even saying, here's a guy who didn't believe in slumps. He's all in this big slump now. He's in his own head. Anybody who golfs, once you can't putt forever. You got to get out of your own head. I think that's where he's at, and we got to find a way to get him out of it. Because, these games are relatively tight. You get a hit from him 1 out of 3 times up to the plate. Guess what? We're not in that spot. We just got to find a way. And I'm not blaming him for where we're at. But the Central's too tough. You have no room for error.
Agreed. And I think we've maybe even a little bit outplayed our talent so far. So, in comparison to Cleveland and Detroit. So we got like you said, we really got to focus and try to keep that consistency up as much as possible with those 2 teams being so talented.
And we're playing the A's, who are not necessarily a terrible team, but they're in a tough spot. But Detroit's playing the White Sox, for heaven's sake. So we're not going to gain a lot of ground this week. Spin, I love having you on the program. How does somebody pick up you and Bus's podcast?
Love being here, Al. Hard Headed Sports is available anywhere you get your podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and YouTube.
You get them today, they'll double the offer. Twice as much Spinny and Fetty for the same amount of money. Go get it.
Sir.